overall, grade accelerated students did not end up with more psychological difficulties than their peers. However, when it comes to entering secondary school early, the Nigerian Federal Ministry of Education believes that the risks outweigh the benefits. The ministry says it's unwise to send under 12s into JS1, and the ministry is taking stronger steps to stop them taking the National Common Entrance exam. So, for the rest of the hour, let's talk about the pros and cons of letting younger children into secondary school and the pros and cons of not letting any of them into secondary school before they're old enough to do that. My guest is an education expert, education consultant, Dr. Peter Ogudoro. Good to have you on the show. Long time no see.
That's correct. Thank you, Sandra.
Yes,
nice to
welcome.
nice to meet you again. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Lagos, of course, if you have thoughts or questions you'd love to share, go ahead and give us a call on 0700 993 993 993 01465 7190. Do you believe that there should be a blanket minimum age for the common entrance exam? Or do you believe that there should be exceptions? Or do you believe that there should be no limits? How old were you when you took the common entrance and got into secondary school? If you were a younger student, what was your experience? Would you recommend it? If you are a parent, what do you want for your own children? If you are a teacher, if you are an educator, give us your opinion as well based on your experience with pupils and students. 0700 993 993 993 01465 7190. Now, Dr. Ogudoro, first of all, a bit of clarification is needed here. Is there already a minimum age for taking the NCEE? If there already is a minimum age, where is it enshrined?
Repeat the last question.
If there's a minimum age for taking the NCEE, where is it enshrined?
Well, we have what we call national education policy, and that policy is arrived at by opinions that are expressed by those who represent the various states of the federation, who meet at an event where the Minister of Education presides as the chair of the event. And of course, you have other education, stakeholders, people representing JAM, representing National Universities Commission, national. They brought people who also do research and determine what children need to learn, the Education Research and Development Council. So, yes, we do have policy that it prescribes the pace at which you should move. And so, yeah, we do.
We do. Okay. Now, what are the arguments in favor of setting a minimum age?
Well, if you have studied the kind of things some of us have studied, you will recognize that the brain matures with age. And so we have a fantastic psychologist, Jean Piaget, who did a study long time ago, which still remains the guide, that provides the guiding principles for how we work with children. So he talked about the starting point is what we call the psychomotor level, where the children are not able to talk; they use their bodies to communicate, and then you move from there to pre-operational state to operational, concrete operational stage, and then you get to formal operational stage where you become a teenager, so your brain can think in the abstract and appreciate things that you probably do not see. But at lower ages, you discover that if we move you too fast, your brain is not mature enough to be able to cope with the complexities of the kind of materials that you are being confronted with. So we have scientific basis for letting children move at certain paces. But we also do recognize that there are exceptional cases where you find people you call geniuses. If your IQ intelligence quotient is above average, let's say about 125 going up, then we might make exceptions to the rule. But most people do not belong to the category of exceptions. Most people are average people, really. So the average person has an IQ of 100, meaning that if you go to school, you'll be able to finish with a second class, lower degree and earn it and go to work, and you will not be sacked. You'll be able to earn good money to pay children's school fees and pay your rent. But most people definitely belong to that category. Then you have, the geniuses who are probably about 1 to 2% of the population who,
Hmm.
if they are in the class and you're teaching them, if they have to learn 10 things that you mentioned to, they fix the rest 8 on their own.
But you see, the problem is that a lot of parents who are listening to me right now believe that their children are part of that 1 to 2%. It was the big basis for the debate when we had that conversation a few weeks ago here on Hard Facts. Yes, but our children might be exceptional, and I'm like, well, your child is intelligent. It doesn't mean that your child is exceptional, and
That's correct.
it's a source of serious debate, and
we,
and
we have that we have that challenge with the elites, elites, because they have the resources to send their children to private schools,
mm,
and they support them with enormous resources, and so they end up doing better academically than the children of the lower economic class. So they
mm.
conclude that because their children are doing better academically, that they are more intelligent than those who don't have that kind of asset. But that's not how we look at it, from a scientific perspective.
For decades, Nigerian primary schools have been letting pupils skip a year or 2 years and take the common entrance early. Has there been a systemic attempt to track the performance of secondary school students based on whether or not they got early admission?
The truth we know is that the quality of research we do in Nigeria is subpar. The basic reason is the fact that the skills are not there, and then the funding level is very low. And so you find that, yes, there are students, for example, doing masters and PhD, who have made attempts to try to look into these things, but those things are not to be trusted to the level that we can use those things to make arguments that can be presented at a global level. The simple reason is the sample size is usually very, very small. So you go to a secondary school in Lagos, or take a few secondary schools in Lagos, or look at a few communities in Lagos, and you come up with some data on the basis of which you reach conclusions.
Mm.
But the truth is that Lagos is not Nigeria. Lagos is not even up to 10% of Nigeria. We have just about 20 million people who live here.
Mm-hmm.
And Nigeria, as at today, has over 200 million people. So
Mm-hmm.
if you keep using the sample size we take from the cities, which is where most universities are located, to reach conclusions as to what applies to our children, most of the time you'll be wrong.
Mm.
But in the advanced societies, what they do is to provide enough resources for professors and their students who are interested in these things to go as deep as possible into local communities to get data, and then also add what they get from the cities. And what you then will produce will be data and information and conclusions that society can rely upon to take appropriate decisions. So, as it concerns us, no, we don't have very scientific studies that you can rely upon to make concrete, reach conclusions,
Mm-hmm.
and on the basis of which you can make decisions that will benefit society. But overall, we do know that taking knowledge from the advanced societies and researchers who have done this since in Germany, in the UK, in America, and in Canada, definitely the brain has a way it progresses in terms of maturity. And if we give you materials and complex materials to deal with at a time when your brain is not mature to deal with it, you can run into problem.
And
Because
that's why I
yeah,
asked that question, because when we started, I quoted that study data from the US, and definitely it's possible that outcomes will be very different in Nigeria.
very correct.
But are we just assuming that the outcomes are different? Since we don't have statistical data showing it.
Yeah, but some of us have been privileged to study these things, and we can explain why you can't use what you produce in America to reach conclusions with respect to Nigeria. Sometimes you hear young people who find the motivation to drop out of university, and the excuse is that Bill Gates didn't finish first degree, and he is one of the world's richest people. They also point to Mark Zuckerberg, who also dropped out of university. Even the people who started Google, they went back to school to try and do their PhD. They dropped out, they didn't finish. And so, but what people do not know is that the education you have in the US, by the time you finish high school, really,
You're very equipped.
exposure amounts to somebody having a first degree in Nigeria. So the
Yes.
two are not the same. So
Yes.
that's the truth of the matter. And then from kindergarten, even by the quality of parenting, the kind of places your parents take you to, all of those things are part of education. You gain confidence because you go to camps. When you belong to religious organizations, you play active roles, and you are empowered early and given the confidence, to try new things. We don't do that here. So much of what the average Nigerian child is experiencing is just he goes to school, he brings home, a bag full of assignments, and then he chews that all night. The following day he repeats that, and so he doesn't really, at the end of the day, even after getting a first degree, he can't solve simple problems because we have not been exposing him to how the real world works. And for the elites, it's even more problematic, and that's why, again, our politics has been, very, decrepit, because the elites who are running this society are people who do not really know where the shoe, where the shoe pinches, because they don't wear it, they don't move around. A few years ago, I did a piece of research, working with children in secondary schools, teenagers, and I try to compare the brain, what the children in private schools, high profile private schools are thinking about in terms of why are they in school, what aspirations do they have, and I compare the aspirations to the aspirations and concerns of those who come from very lowly background. A place like Bandre in Najegule, where children sit on the floor, to listen to their teachers. And what you find is that the children in Najegule are more, informed, are better informed regarding the problems of society compared to the children of valleys who are in the so-called international schools or even federal schools in Nigeria. Those ones in these international schools, most of the time, you ask them why they are in school. They are in school to, finish well, make a first class, get 2-1, and get good jobs, and be able to fly around the world, buy the latest cars, have the latest phones. Those are the kind of things they are interested in. But the children in Ajegule, they tell you they are interested in, fixing the roads in Ajegule. They are interested in ensuring that their parents do not, go through the kind of experiences they are going. They want to solve their parents' problems, and they want their younger ones, to have a better future than they are experiencing currently. So the summary of what I'm trying to say there, Sandra, is that if you do research in the US, and some of us are privileged to have, done research globally, all over around the world, the UK, Austria, Norway. I have gone to these classrooms, Finland. The way they teach is different from the way we teach. If you finish high school in Finland, the quality of your experience and your capacity to solve problems is at the level of somebody who is just finishing, who has finished, a master's degree in Nigeria, really. About 2 weeks ago, I was at an event at Microsoft in Ikoyi, and one of the people who attended that event happened to be a young person about the age of 20 from Denmark, and he was obviously the youngest there. And I got talking with him. What are you doing here? He said, well, he just finished high school, but he wasn't sure of what he wanted to use his life to do in terms of career. And so he decided to travel around the world. And so he was in Nigeria for 2 months. And he was, mingling with people who have PhD, with people who are managing directors of organizations, with software engineers, and getting exposed, and then eventually getting close to determining what he actually wants to do. So that kind of person, when eventually he goes to university and finishes a first degree, you'll be thinking he's just a first degree holder. When you compare him in terms of capacity to solve problems to somebody who finishes from Unilag or Ibadan with a PhD, he's likely to beat him all the time. And it has little or nothing to do with the person's intelligence. It's just the fact that his career has been managed, he has been exposed to people who have helped him to gain the confidence, and they're moving around the world alone on his own, which most elites do not do in Nigeria. They carry their children to school, they bring them back, they don't let them see what the world is talking about, especially in the face of the kind of securities we have here. So Sandra, this matter we're looking at is not a very simple one.
It really isn't. I wonder though, are there downsides to holding a child back? Because you have those who say, like we mentioned earlier, some children are academically advanced, forcing them to stay in their age-based classes, actually wasting their potential, it's slowing them down. What are the downsides of holding a child back?
Well, if a child, has gifts and talents which you are not nourishing, you are actually denying that child of the opportunity to move as fast as possible to use those skills optimally to the benefit of himself, his family, and society. And with time, people who are discouraged from moving as fast as they have capacity to move are also individuals who get eventually frustrated, and some of them lose interest completely in academics and say they don't want to do it again. And you see them moving away from academics classrooms, and they get into looking for money, because the brain will always, find a way to utilize what it has. Right. And so if you don't give opportunity to use it productively, it begins to use it to the disadvantage of society. And so many people who are doing 419 in Nigeria and, working with bandits and terrorists, you go and check them very well. You discover that there are people who society didn't give adequate opportunities to use their gifts productively to the advantage of themselves, their families, and society. So we do not encourage parents and society to put obstacles in the way of children who want to move as fast as they can move. That is not to say that skipping classes is the way, to go. Because I also tell you that a lot of times the conclusions teachers and parents reach about a child's potential, most of the time, from my experience, those conclusions are bloated, overestimated, overrated. And at the end of the day, from my own personal experience as an educationist and as a researcher in the industry, I tell you, most of the children who skip these classes, go and look at the data, you find that when they get into secondary school, they struggle, really. They were taking first positions, while they were in primary four, and then they skip and get into secondary school. You see them not, being in the top 5% of their classes anymore. The fact is that that the body of knowledge you're supposed to grab by going through primary 6, if you don't have it, it means you haven't laid the foundation which your teachers in JS1 are supposed to build upon, because they are going to assume that you know everything that primary 6 curriculum is supposed to give to you. So if you don't come into the class with the knowledge that primary 6 provides, and no matter how intelligent you are going to wobble, you are going to struggle, and sense of frustration may come in, and you see them developing emotional challenges.
It's very interesting that you say that, because I skipped primary 6, and before I got to primary 6, I used to be first in class, or first in class, first, second. If I do very badly in a particular term, I would come third, and then I got to JS1, and I started becoming like bottom 3 of the class. A class of 50, I'll be like 47th. Sure. A class of 30, I'll be like 30 something, and my parents were panicking. You're not bending down. You're not studying hard. What is going on? This is not the Sandra we know. Yeah. And I couldn't explain what was going on, because it was a shock to me to go from bright student to carrying the class on your head. It was a whole thing. And then eventually you buckle in, and you don't want to repeat the class, and so you get better and better until you improve. Lagos, I know you. Yes, go ahead.
And in an attempt to continue to meet the expectations of your parents, what happens is that you overwork yourself, and you lose the time you need to also pay attention to other aspects of your life, because we are not in school to just go through academics, go through schooling and come out of it. We also have to pay attention to our social development, psychological development, emotional development, our physical development, have time for sports, have time to socialize. When a child struggles like that, you want to devote more time to study, so that you don't let your parents down, as we would say in Nigeria. In the process, you
let yourself down.
You let yourself down, because you take away, what it takes to live a balanced life, acquire everything you need. So you have been very lucky sometimes. Those of us who do research with respect to success, we also know that that luck, has a place in how successful people become. But, not everybody who skipped classes, is as lucky as you are. And again, we do not know how far you would have gone if you didn't skip classes.
Also,
the minister of education.
Who knows? Who knows? Instead of a journalist on Nigeria Info. Okay, I've got information to share with Lagos real quick.
Yes, it is OnePlay.ng that has asked me to squeeze into this soft period inside Hard Facts to tell you guys that, people are still winning. As of now, we know that over 100 people have won 25K each at this point, and this has been going on for weeks now, you too can be one of them. And all you have to do is dial from your phone *347*880#. It will cost you 100 naira. Then you follow the prompt. You can play as many times as possible. Now, the One Play computer will be picking 3 winners tonight, and they will be announced at 10:15 by Ada Blessing. So you tune in and listen as you are playing. Now, 3 people get to win 25k each. That's a whopping 75,000 naira. And this will be happening every other night. You can't miss this. You can't possibly miss this. I mean, it's just 100 naira. Try a look and see what's going to go, what's going to happen, for you. It could be you. You could win multiple times. And, oneplay.ng is a registered trademark of Lasho Trading Services Limited, registered under the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, licensed and regulated by the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission to conduct gaming, betting, and lottery activities in Nigeria. Terms and conditions do apply. Start playing now. And while you play responsibly.
Lagos, let's talk on 0700-993-993-993, 01465-7190. Do you believe that there should be a blanket minimum age for the common entrance exam? Or do you believe that there should be exceptions? Or do you believe that there should be no limits? Also, how old were you when you took the common entrance and got into secondary school? If you were a younger student, what was your experience? Do you want to evaluate like Dr. Odoro, who's my guest on today? Give opinion on its 700-993-993-993, 01465-7190. Hi, how are you? Hello? How you doing?
Hello.
Yes, what's your name, sir? Hello? Oh, that's unfortunate. Call me back if you can. Hi, good afternoon. Well, evening now. Hello? Hello?
Good evening.
Good evening. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, Sandra, good evening. My name is Ike Mo from Olabisi Onabanjo University.
Welcome, Ike Mo.
Number 1, welcome from your leave. That will tell you how long I've been trying. Number 2, congratulations that your station is now the best. I think you are one of those who made it the best.
Thank you.
Number 3, I did my youth score in 1980. Now, coming back to that will tell you how long I've been trying.
All right, talk
now,
to me.
coming back to what you are doing, I went to school at the age of 12.
Okay.
And I was the youngest in my class. It was immediately after. Frankly, I didn't know what I went to school to. In primary school, I was doing very well.
Okay.
First, second, first, prizes. I went to secondary school. The first year was so horrible.
Oh, God.
My father was a village headmaster, and he was wondering what happened.
Oh.
So by the time I realized what I've come to do, I tried to catch up, but there are certain things I couldn't catch up with.
Oh.
Things like mathematics and all that was difficult for me to catch up.
Yes.
But what happened to me is that my year 2 was better than my year 1.
Okay.
My class 3 was better than my class 2.
Yeah.
My class 4 was better than, and my class 5 was the best year for me in terms of academics and performance.
Right.
This issue of children skipping classes, jumping class and whatever, I don't think is the best thing to do.
All right. Thank you so much for calling. We'll have to wrap it there. Unfortunately, we have a break coming up. But when we come back from the break, we'll keep talking. So that gentleman's experience, very similar to mine. JS 1 was a struggle. JS 2 was a struggle, but less of a struggle than JS 1. It got better in JS 3. SS1 back to struggling. SS2 much better than all my years in secondary school. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. You're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's take this break. We'll come back. We'll keep talking to Dr. Peter Ogudoro, an education consultant, talking to me today about education.
Get rich. Hey, get lucky. Get rich.
Oganedu, how you dey now?
Call me Agent Lucky.
Which one be Agent Lucky again? You don't do property business.
Now, luckybet.ng and register with you. I don't become Agent Lucky. My brother. No be small cash out. I can make up to 1 million naira monthly. Luckybet, they pay sharp. Luckybet will give you up to 50% in commission and bonuses. Weekly and monthly bonus on turnover. Luckybet goes summer you with a 250% multiplier bonus for online games. To become agent with Luckybet, make you get shop and order necessary items. Enter their website www.luckybet.ng or call 012526666 or WhatsApp 0906-298-0100 for more information. You don't hear? You too fit get lucky, get rich.
My people just to work hard. Dreams and challenges motivate us. But sometimes, when the journey gets tiring, all we need is something to push our limits.
Yeah, reactor. Ignite your energy. Bring out your inner champion. Every reactor. Reactor. Ignite your energy. Bring out your inner champion. Every reactor.
Reactor Energy Drink. What you need to push your limits.
Wahala. No day, reactor energy drink. Push your limits. No day, tire. No way, reactor energy drink. Reactor.
Push your limits.
Get lucky, get rich. Hey, get lucky, get rich.
Oganedu, how you dey now?
Call me Agent Lucky.
Which one be Agent Lucky again? You don't dey do property business.
Now luckybet.ng I register with you. I don't become Agent Lucky. My brother. No be small cash out. I can make up to 1 million naira monthly. Lucky Bet they pay sharp sharp. Lucky Bet will give you up to 50% in commission and bonuses. Weekly and monthly bonus on turnover. Lucky Bet go summer you with a 250% multiplier bonus for online games. To become agent with Lucky Bet, make you get shop and order necessary items. Enter their website www.luckybet.ng or call 01-252-6666 or WhatsApp 0906-298-0100 for more information.
You don't hear? You too fit get lucky, get rich.
Some like it hot, some like it cold, some like it in a mug, some like it on the road. That's right! Whatever your hustle, stay refreshed and ready with the creamy, great-tasting new Nescafe Ready to Drink. It comes in a convenient pack with a straw, so you can enjoy it anywhere, anytime. No dulling. Nescafe Ready to Drink. Refresh for the hustle.
If you're wondering how I keep up with my groove, I stay hydrated even when I'm on the move. I'm not gonna let anything weigh me down cause I'm on the go. So have you refreshed and gingered with Seaway water? Oh yeah, make you drink more water. And mind your business. Seaway for every family, live life to the fullest. Make you drink more water. And mind your business. Seaway for every family, live life to the fullest.
You can do more when you're healthy and hydrated. Drink Seaway. Available in 75 cl, 150 cl, and dispenser water. Available in all stores near you. Also, download the Seaway Home mobile app to enjoy free delivery to your doorstep. Always choose the water you can trust. Seaway for every family.
Naija people with the yarn better tori abeg.
He found the gold and asked her for just shikini piece of the pie, and she killed him for it.
Obìnrin. Fair women.
No one tells a story like we do. Watch Wura and other international shows on Showmax, Africa's original streaming service. Sign up at showmax.com.
Get ready for the biggest off-season football tournament in Nigeria. From June 23rd to 25th, the Eket Township Stadium in Akwa Ibom will witness the clash of titans as 12 football clubs go head-to-head. On 23rd of June, Lobby Stars and City FC will go head-to-head in a thrilling curtain raiser. On the same day, brace yourself and Remo Stars of Shagamu. On the 24th, Stars take on Gombe United FC of Aba and Heartland of Owerri will for the Zones ticket. June 25th will witness an epic duel between Kano Pillars and Katsina United. Rivers United will trade tackles with Bendel Insurance. Catch all the action live on DSTV channel 209 and GoTV channel 64. Naija Super 8 is organized by Fly Kite Productions in partnership with MultiChoice Nigeria and sponsored by MTN, Hero Lager, DSTV, Super Sport, Money Point, Pepsi, and Custodian Assurance. Naija Super 8. Football is home.
Imagine a life with zero worries.
Flip to Page Financials for loans done right. Page Financials offers instant loans that keep you on track. No matter what life throws your way, you can get up to 5 million naira when you need it most. Apply for a loan with Page Financials today. Visit www.pagefinancials.com or call 01-700-7243 to get started.
Uncle Dentist, what are cavities and how does Colgate protect my teeth from cavities? Does it use Kung Fu?
No, dear. Most tooth pain
pains are caused by tooth holes called cavities. When you brush daily with Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection, its expert formula locks natural calcium in our teeth and helps protect them from cavities.
It's time to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Colgate is recommended by the Nigerian Dental Association.
Are you tired of missing out on investment opportunities? Do you want to take control of your financial future? Well, look no further. Introducing the Emerging Wealth app, the game-changing investment hub proudly brought to you by Emerging Africa Group. With the Emerging Wealth app, you can elevate your investments to new heights. It's a secure and user-friendly platform designed with powerful tools at your fingertips. You can invest in stocks, bonds, securities, mutual funds, and so many more, all in one place. Download the app today from your iOS and Google Play stores to experience the convenience and security you deserve. With the Emerging Wealth app, you can easily manage your portfolio, track your investments, and stay up to date with the latest market news and trends. Plus, you have access to expert advice and support whenever you need it. Don't miss this opportunity to witness the financial transformation and secure your financial future. Remember, terms and conditions apply. So, what are you waiting for? Download the Emerging Wealth app today and start investing like a pro.
Give me fufu now. I have been standing here since.
How many?
5, no meat.
Guy, 5 fufu, no meat?
Bros, I have to save money. I have been working almost 5 years with no salary increase. I will be getting married in another year.
My guy, your solution is not saving, no. You should just enroll at IT.
I want to save money. I don't want any pyramid scheme, bros.
Listen, IT is a tech school that can equip you with the tech skills you need to get a well-paying job in tech anywhere in the world.
Bros, all these schools are expensive.
So Diki, IT runs a 3-semester program and each semester is just 120,000 naira. Plus, they will help you with job placement after you graduate.
For real?
If you don't get a job within 6 months of graduating, you get your money back guaranteed.
For real?
Just go on www.aiti.ng or call 080-0000-2484 to get started. But first, chop meat with this your fufu.
The round table is back.
I recall that the former Minister for Interior, Abdulrahman Dambazao, said that people go in as dogs and come out as lions.
I don't think the Nigerian government actually took the time to look at it from a holistic perspective.
And it's just really painful because it seems as though that, with every new government, we tend to miss the previous government.
It's just like you put human beings to live as pigs inside a place. How do you correct such? I don't even know who gave them the idea of changing the name.
The round table. This June 28th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon, 29th, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and 30th, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Be part of the table on 99.3 Lagos, 92.3 Port Harcourt, and 95.1 Abuja. Let's talk.
I would just say that we're all stakeholders in the business of building Nigeria.
This is the University of Africa. Here, the most important qualification is imagination, because here, everyone has a reason to imagine.
Passion, finesse, skill, beats, stunts, beats.
What's your reason? We want to hear it from you. Imagine it with you. Maybe even make it a reality for you. Follow at Airtel Nigeria on all social media platforms for more details. T's and C's apply.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Did you know that there are endless career opportunities for you in tech? Absolutely. Tired of continuously seeking admission? Or do you need a better job? Alt School Africa is your ticket to a thriving career. Start your career in tech and earn a diploma from Alt School Africa. Choose from code and no-code programs like front-end engineering, back-end engineering, data science, data analysis, product design, and product management. Picture this: affordable tuition, online classes, interactive live sessions, seasoned tutors, and even soft skills training. Apply now and enjoy 50% off tuition fees at altschoolafrica.com. That's altschoolafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi there, my name is Mercy Johnson Okoji.
My name is Joke Silva.
Hi there, I am Aproko Doctor.
My name is Chef Winnie, aka Delicious Food.
It's your boy Cruz with Joe. I love cooking.
And my choice of cooking oil.
And my choice of cooking oil is Power Oil.
Is Power Oil.
My choice is Power Oil.
Use Power Oil. It's triple filtered. It contains omega-6 and 9, and it's fortified with vitamin A. Plus, it comes in different packs and sizes, so afford it without breaking the bank.
A mother's love is unconditional. Nothing serves this love better than a bowl of Indomie. So, show some love with Indomie.
This season just got bigger for you. Yes, you the audience. You can win a one-bedroom apartment just by watching the Big Family Dream TV show in our home play contest. Head on to www.bufferstudios.com now and click on home play to find out how. Also, follow all our social media handles at Big Family Dream and you're on your way to winning a brand new one-bedroom apartment. You can also register your family for the next season of the Big Family Dream, the show where all your dreams can come true. Showing on this channels: African Magic Family, Sundays 5:30 p.m. TVC, Sundays 6 p.m. STV, Sundays 6:30 p.m. Royal Roots TV, Sundays 7:30 p.m. Wazobia Max, Sundays 8 p.m. YouTube live stream option is also available at Buffett Studios TV on YouTube. Don't miss it. Terms and conditions apply. Proudly sponsored by AG Mortgage Bank PLC in association with White Foods and LifeMates Nigeria.
Are you tired of using ordinary lubricants that fail to give your engine the power and protection it deserves? Introducing Shell Helix Lubricants, now available in Nigeria. No more frequent visits to the mechanic. No more funny noise coming from your engine. No more abnormal fuel consumption. You can now say goodbye to all that smoke from your car's exhaust.
Shell Helix Lubricants uses Pure Plus technology, a technology that protects your engine from dirt, gets rid of impurities, and improves engine performance. Need guaranteed engine protection? Use Shell Helix Lubricants. Now available at AP and NU service stations nationwide.
We went on the streets to ask people how they love Nescafe Multi.
This multi, that's sweet, oh!
I love it. Love it. Love it. Whoever added malt to Nescafe is a genius.
The way the coffee tastes, they mix with the sweet creaminess, and the malt taste, it not get maize, mba.
See, abeg, if you want greet me now, have a great multi day.
Well, you've heard it live and direct. Start your day with a Nescafe Multi every day. And have a great multi day. Start strong, finish strong. Nescafe.
Conga Media Shopping Festival is live with unbelievable price crash on your favorite products across categories. Enjoy same-day delivery and free shipping for all Conga Now orders. Visit Conga.com today. Conga, the e-commerce group you trust.
Are you tired of using ordinary lubricants that fail to give your engine the power and protection it deserves? Introducing Shell Helix Lubricants, now available in Nigeria. No more frequent visits to the mechanic. No more funny noise coming from your engine. No more abnormal fuel consumption. You can now say goodbye to all that smoke from your car's exhaust.
Shell Helix Lubricants uses Pure Plus technology, a technology that protects your engine from dirt, gets rid of impurities, and improves engine performance. Need guaranteed engine protection? Use Shell Helix Lubricants. Now available at AP and NU service stations nationwide.
99.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. You're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Should the common entrance exam have an age limit? A conversation I've been having with you, Lagos, alongside an education expert, Dr. Peter Ogudoro. And we've been trying to answer that question. We went through what the arguments in favor for having a minimum age are. We've also gone through the arguments for holding a child back could be. And before the break, I was letting you join the conversation and answer for me if you think there should be a blanket minimum age for the common entrance exam, or if you believe that there should be exceptions. Do you believe that there should be no limits? I'm also asking you how old you were were when you took the common entrance exam and got into secondary school? If you were a younger student, what was your experience? We heard from a gentleman who said to me, Sandra, I was great in primary school. I got to year 1 of secondary school and it was horrible. If you are an educator, give us your opinion based on your experience with pupils and students. 0700993 01465 Now, Dr. Ogudoro, let's talk about enforcement. The Education Ministry says that it's going to start making common entrance candidates upload their birth certificates and other documentation to prove their age. Do you think this will be effective, or do you think it's going to motivate parents to simply falsify documents?
Well, I think what we are doing on this show today is also to provide some enlightenment to parents. So if you falsify documents to let your child move faster than, the child gives permit, you're actually doing the child a disservice. And again, the child will also know what you have done, because the child knows, her age, and you're telling the government something different. So that's how young people then, get into corrupt practices early, and eventually they become the politicians we all complain about.
Right.
So I think it shouldn't be a very difficult thing. We have made considerable progress in terms of documentation. When the child is born, the parents know that they should go to the National Population Commission to get a birth certificate. And so if you upload the birth certificate, that gives us a clear idea regarding when you were born. And so for those of us too who do research in the industry, I can tell you, Sandra, that most of the skipping of classes that we know and have seen in the industry are actually not things happening in the public school sphere, space. Most of it happens in the private school, space. And so I don't see the government having very big challenge there. And really, for even federal universities and, state universities, we also know that it's difficult for you to find any young person who is below 16 who is studying in a federal university, but you can find 14 and 15 in private universities. So we may not be able to get 100% success rate, but making the announcement alone is enough motivation for parents to know that they should start allowing their children to finish primary 6 before they head towards secondary school. Is a possibility you can achieve it.
And this brings up the matter of psychology and expectations. So as a society, for the last 2 generations, we have been praising children for skipping grades. When parents of today were children, it was considered a normal thing, and it was even considered something to aspire to, right? And of course, a lot of parents are in competition with their peers over how well their children are doing. So if we really believe that it's not for every child, how do we go about changing society's expectations and parents' expectations specifically?
Well, if we improve our data collection, machinery, and insist that you must provide documents like your birth certificate, which the National Population Commission provides, and and have a way of checking to be sure that the document you're submitting is authentic. And with time, we'll get used to it. And again, enlightenment is also key. One of the things government can do is not to rely on merely issuing a press release on this kind of matter. We have a parent-teacher, association at the national level. We have a body that brings all teachers, all parents together. Parents union. We also have, platforms where secondary school principals meet. We have for those in the private sector, we have for those in the public sector. And so government needs to take a route that will make it possible for them to talk to, parents and teachers using these platforms, so that they educate them as to why it is necessary for them to, respect, this policy. And if we're able to do that, I think that the level of compliance will improve. But I do not want us to stop at compliance, because compliance is about, okay, that's what the government wants, then let's do it. I would prefer that we understand it and realize that government is not just imposing something that we don't need on us. Government is doing it because it is a proper thing to do, it's helpful, I have been privileged to do education research in diverse societies. I just returned from Finland. And Finland, as we speak, runs the best education system at the primary and secondary school levels. And so you need to get into those places and see. You don't find a child who is 9 years, 10 years old in secondary school. They don't see it as being important. Where are you rushing to? One of the arguments parents give me when I ask them, so why do you want your child to skip school? They say, well, when the child skips primary 6, at least we save that money, the school fees for primary 6.
Some also tell you that they finish, the earlier you finish, the more time you have to be able to find jobs because of ASU and non-employment in the society.
Yeah, but those arguments do not hold water. We don't have evidence that supports them, because when you say you want to save money, if a child pays 100,000 per term when in primary 5 and you skip primary 6, and so you save 100,000. When you get into secondary school, you obviously all of that things be equal. You are going to pay about 120,000. So school fees increases, suddenly, and so you do not need. And the child has to spend 6 years before the child can start aspiring to go to university. So which money do you really think you're saving? And if because the child has skipped classes, the child is not emotionally mature, we know really that it's not your first class and your 2-1 that guarantees the best jobs anymore in the world we live in today. Children who get into sports, who are socially competent, and they are able to interact and make friends because they are emotionally competent, and they have high self-efficacy. They generally are the ones, even when they finish with their 3rd class, you see them setting up companies and deploying people who finish with 1st class. So you see them, responding appropriately when they go for interviews, because the work you do doesn't begin and end with you being able to do calculations or to answer questions in chemistry and biology. Sandra, you know very well that you're a golden voice on radio, and we know that what makes a golden voice is not necessarily the quality of your degree. It's also a lot of things you have added to yourself, and your continuous self-development, and that has a lot to do with the quality of interactions you had when you were in primary school, secondary school, and in university. And of course, you have continued to demonstrate creativity in the kind of things you do. So I'm using you as a case study, and you find several other people listening to us who also know that the attainments they have reached today are not particularly attributable just to the degrees that they possess. A lot of what people are accomplishing today, those things are traceable more to how well you manage, your social capital, how well you increase it and manage it, your emotional, intelligence, your cultural and social intelligence. So that's how to look at, that issue. So I do not think that parents, after listening to this kind of conversation, will want to continue to indulge in, malpractices that will keep their children down.
All right, Lagos, join the conversation. Sadly, we've got just 3 minutes before we have to wrap this up, but let's make the best of what we can with that time. 0700-993-993-993, 01465-7190. What are your thoughts on what you've heard this evening? How are you doing, sir? Hello. How are you doing?
Yes, very well.
Welcome. Talk to me.
Okay. Let me make a quick contribution. Fantastic discussion, and I don't disagree with all that's been said. Okay. But I think sometimes when we set limits this way, it's always good to look at multiple aspects. Setting limits means that we set blanket limits on things like this. Sometimes might end up being counterproductive. A lot of arguments we've made can also be made from the opposite direction.
Okay.
When I got into the university in my 100 level, I was opportune to see my department pasted the final year students, their GPs from year 1 to year 4. And I realized that there were certain people who came in, they did very well in year 1. By the time they were going to year 4, they were dwindling. Some other people came in not so good, and they ended up doing well. And I realized that it's different strokes for different folks. So sometimes it's not skipping classes that actually make students weak when they go into secondary school. Personally, when I got into secondary school, I realized that it was a different world. I had significantly a higher number of subjects I was doing. I was introduced to new subjects I had nothing to do with in primary school. And I think sometimes helping the students, young students, understand the difference between moving from one class to another, whether it's primary to secondary or secondary to university, moving from one stage to another can be helpful. Personally, I joined secondary school at age 9. It did not affect me in any way. I did well in my primary school. I did well in my secondary school. So I guess there would be, I finished my secondary school with 8 distinctions in my YF.
So maybe you're one of those that we talked about that in the 1% and 2%.
Now the question is how do we know it's 1 or 2%? How do we know it's not 5? How do we know it's not 6?
They've done the research. They've done the research, and they know it's 1 and 2%.
Okay, and so when we put this blanket limit and you hop the 1 or 2%, what does it do to their society going forward? What does it do to the countries in the world who are turning out, exceptional talent? It's by giving space to this 1 or 2%. If we agree that that's what it is. So when we set blanket bans on some of these things, I think sometimes also consider, the other ramifications. I agree, however, that parents should be discouraged from pushing their children. It should be based on merit. If a child merits it, I see why we should be putting additional roadblocks, okay? But we should discourage parents from pushing and encouraging their children to skip classes because they want to win competitions in their family meetings. When they show up, they want to brag by their children. I think we should.
All right, thank you very much for calling. I wish we had time to stay on this, but we literally do not. We have to take a break. Dr. Peter Ogudoro, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Lagos, if you just tuned in, you can, of course, go back and listen to this conversation from the beginning when we started at 5. We touched on so many things, including the potential of holding back people like my previous caller. And Dr. Ogudoro had thoughts on that, and of course you can listen and disagree with him. Hopefully I'll drag him back into the studio and we can come back to this conversation and just talk to Lagos. No questions from me, just Dr. Ogudoro and Lagos. We'll see how that goes. Dr. Ogudoro, thanks for your time.
It's been my pleasure joining you today.
All right. Lagos will take a break. When we come back, the news at 6 will take the air. After the news at 6, let's bring you the newsroom. On the newsroom, we bring you the biggest stories from the previous week. Ufoma and his gang will be here for that. In the meantime, find me online, Sandra Ezekwesili everywhere, Ezekwesili on social media. Those were your hard facts. Lagos, have yourselves a fantastic evening.
Join the conversation no matter where you are. Download our mobile app by searching Nigeria Info FM on the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Also, get news updates and sports and
some small stretch mark. They try shook face on my body.